Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad that you found us here on YouTube and have joined our tribe of survivors. And what I'm going to talk about today, I'm sure most of you are going to be able to relate to. And that's when you say no to the narcissist. But if you back up to the beginning, one of the reasons why we ended up with a narcissist is because you'll try to remember the exact moment that they asked you for something that you said yes to. It was a test because obviously narcissists hate being said no to. They feel very entitled, like, how dare you not fulfill any request that I give? So they test people in their lives and they get them to do stuff for them. And if you say yes, and you go into a certain category in their mind that they can get fuel from you and because of that test, and they'll keep going back to you. And then there's some people out there, like they will easily say no just because they know themselves and because they don't want to do something, so they don't do it, and they don't feel bad about saying no to something that they don't want to do. Well, when that happens to a narcissist, when the narcissist first meets them, they go into the categories like, yeah, I don't need you in my life. I'm never basically going to talk to you again, is the attitude that they give. But if you said yes to them, even though you didn't want to do it, like empaths and people like us, we don't like saying no to people when they ask us to do something. And it could be something simple like helping them move something, helping them with something around the house. They'll ask you for something and it'll be really mundane, like a ride somewhere, because their car is in the shop. It'll be something simple like that. And even though you don't have time and you'll have to like put someone else off, you want to say yes because an empath really has a hard time saying no because we can feel instant disappointment from the person when we say no. So we tend to say yes overly to everybody. And this is something that the narcissist will snuff out right away. And I mean right away. This is at the very beginning of you meeting this narcissist, a test went on. It probably passed you by and you didn't recognize it at the time, but there was a test of whether or not you would say no to them. And likely, obviously, you didn't, because we like to say yes to please people. And I remember certain times in my relationship, I hated saying no. I would go leaps and bounds to try to please him and say yes to anything that he wanted because I loved him and I wanted to see him happy and I was trying really hard. But then sometimes it got so unreasonable. And looking back, I should have, backed off. Like there was one time he needed to take a business trip and I was in Florida. Anyway, it was like on the other side of the country. So I'm booking flights and I'm looking at flights and I'm giving him his itinerary and he's looking at it and he basically said that it was unacceptable because it takes too long to get there. I need to change the flights and make it better because he was wasting too much of his time in the commute. And I remember, sitting in front of the computer trying to figure out how to make it better. But the thing is, it's a 3-hour flight and yeah, it's across the country and I can't change that. But I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to appease him and do what he's asking. And it was unreasonable. Like planes only go so fast and you're going 3,000 miles away and I can't make the trip shorter. But here I am sitting there trying because I wanted to please him. And this is at the beginning, a little bit at the beginning of the relationship. And so there's things like that. I mean, they really think they're so entitled. They really think that all society can bend to them. And it's so unreasonable for him to try to make a 3-hour flight shorter because that's what they wanted. Like this is what goes on inside a narcissist's mind. And your entire relationship will be based on you saying yes to them and appeasing them. And that basically is fueling them. And they feel completely entitled to it, not by you, but by everybody else in their lives. And you'll notice that through your entire relationship with the narcissist, if you witnessed anybody saying no to them in any kind of way, they were written off. They were dead to the narcissist. They don't need to keep anyone in their lives that don't say yes to everything that they want. And this is one of the reasons why a narcissist does not have a lot of friends, because, sometimes people need to say no because they have other things going on in their lives. And, and that's why the narcissist will just get rid of them. Like they don't see any reason to keep someone around that isn't going to say yes to everything that they want. And I remember like those moments where someone said no to him, and the look on his face was almost like a disgust, like, how dare you? And he looked at them like he was looking at them for the last time because he was never going to talk to them again. And it was that type of look he was giving people if they said no. And towards the end of our relationships, I remember, the times that I was upset and said no to him for whatever he wanted. That's when anger ensued and a fight would break, only because I said no. And so now I know how to say no in a certain way, and it's basically saying no with a smile on my face, because when I'm gray rocked or I have a slight smile, they can't fight it really. They can't get fuel out of me, because if I say no with anger to them, it's just going to amplify it right back. You have to own your decision of saying no and give them no outlet to attack you in any way. And you also have to say it in a way that doesn't give them fuel, negative fuel, by saying no to them, which also means you don't explain why you're saying no. You just say no. Because if you're explaining yourself, and that means you're on the defensive, and them watching you having to defend yourself is a form of fuel for them. And that's why you have to go gray rock, which is no emotion, because it doesn't matter if it's happy or sad or angry or eccentric. It doesn't matter what the emotion is. It'll be fuel for them. So you have to have no emotion almost. And that's how you say no to a narcissist, and have it stick, because they're going to come back to you because they know that you don't like to say no, right? You're in the category of the people that say yes to them, right? You're not on the bad list of people that said no in the past. And that's why they always come back, because they know that it's difficult for you to say no to them. And it can be about absolutely anything. And sometimes they ask you for something that they don't even want. They just want you to bow to them and bend to them, because it's like it's a type of fuel for them. It's this nasty game that they're playing, and they think that no one knows the rules but them. But all of us are starting to learn the rules of a narcissist and what is really going on inside their head. So I just wanted to give a really quick video for you guys about saying no to the narcissist. And I'm really appreciative of all my new subscribers and all the likes and shares and love. And I'm so glad that you all found us here on YouTube and have joined our tribe as survivors post narcissist.